Okay, we should be live in the pre-show memes. I still have not decided on what I want my nickname to be for this series yet.
Oh.
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. What would I pick now?
It's gonna have to be something Alice in Wonderland related, clearly.
That, I mean, probably, yeah, but...
Well, there's other fairy tales we'll get to.
Sure, yeah, I believe it.
The sections are even taken up by me and Sheena, at least.
What's a Alice Aremia thing you could do?
Alice Rimia? No, that feels weird.
Yeah.
B Rimia?
First name B, last name Remia.
Maybe.
Wow.
Welcome, Lady Galaxy. Let me...
Hello.
You're about to get pinged. You just got pinged.
Hey, check the
It's really
spoilers
messed up
zone.
that you would do that.
Check the spoiler
What'd you do this
zone.
time, Ari?
I'm looking in the spoiler zone.
Sheena saw it and Chap saw it, but I posted earlier today.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Welcome, Turndo.
Extremely big-brained.
Okay, we are live on YouTube and Twitch. And I did remember to make sure the program I needed before launching Twitch was up for the login redeems. It does still work.
Wait, but
so
what about Kick?
Yeah, alright, I can accept that as canon.
No, we're on Kick. Don't worry about that. What'd you say? You can accept that as canon?
I was reading it and I'm just like, this feels familiar.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been here. This is what they call,
Welcome, Maggette. When they pulled out the chessboard this week, I was like,
okay.
oh. Oh boy.
No.
I will say though, okay, they actually understood how chess works from the very few panels I got to see of how the board works, okay? So they get points.
Although I will admit, I kind of do miss that the chef makes fun of manga artists for being bad at chess.
Bro, if you have chess be like a central thing that you keep bringing up in your fucking series, you should probably understand how it works. I don't know. I feel like it would help. I understand.
I call this one a central thing.
Well, not here, but in Umineko was where it was an essential thing, and every time it was depicted, they were just doing it wrong. And it was clear later that it was for symbolic reasons, but early on, it was not for symbolic reasons, and it was just wrong for no reason. I don't know.
It was wrong for art. Okay.
It was wrong for... Bro. Listen.
It was
you just don't understand how witches play chess?
Maybe I just don't get it. They should have done it like, if they're gonna do it like that, they should do it like how Isaiah in Durarara was doing it. It's just like 3 different games mixed in that have no rules that make sense.
Complete circus show.
That's practically a
Go into literal 4th dimensional chess.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh boy, we have a kick message. We have a kick message. It says, "Hello, how are you?" Waving emoji.
Want to collab?
I enjoy watching your broadcast. Fire emoji. Keep it up. Laughing emoji. Flexing emoji. I have some recommendations. How to increase your follows, live views, live chatters / subscribers on your channel, and get verified for that. You will be earning $24 per hour on your live streaming content. Greatly help you to improve your stream. Would you mind joining me on my Discord? No, I would not. I would not like to join you.
Make sure you enter the 3 numbers on the back of your card.
I don't think we will be doing that.
Why are you still on Kick?
It costs me nothing to go live on it.
Help Turndo.
They haven't kicked him off yet.
It costs you everything because every time you have to read out comments like this to all of us.
It's called comedy. That's comedy, okay? Because I just ban it. It's funny.
It is a little funny.
What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Chavy expected the same result though.
Far Cry.
Yeah, nobody thinks this is gonna get better.
I don't know if you know this, but these types of messages happen often on Twitch too. Like these are just things that happen on all of these sites.
You actually get real.
I actually get them like I actually get them like rarely
I think
ever
real
on
people, at
Kick
least.
compared to Twitch. Twitch, I get them like near every day. Shadow and I try to ban them at the same time and then accidentally unban them as a result. It happens.
Yes. And
Chat,
then
are you
have to
real?
reban them.
Are you
I
real,
don't-
chat?
I don't think anybody in
Comment
chat's
if you
real.
are.
Nobody has logged in today, so as far as I know, nobody is real in my chat, okay?
Oh,
Nobody's real.
Wow.
That's
I'll
true,
get on
actually.
it.
I'm not real.
We have the login button and no one's done it, so that means that
Echo
nobody
reference.
is in there right now, okay? By the way, if
There's
you're
no
listening
log
to
out
this,
button though, and I pressed it like a week ago. So
well, listen, okay?
Are you happy?
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave, all right? This is Hotel California. Oh my god, Shadow is logged in. Holy shit, 4 times.
Hotel Pandora.
Wow. Yeah, true. We're going to the abyss. All right, let's see here. Okay, so we are missing Andy for this week. We already knew about that. Was there anybody else we were missing? Actually, Shadow, I thought you weren't going to be here because you're sick. How you feeling? Are you good?
It doesn't hurt to speak anymore, so that's good.
That's progress.
Oh,
that's good. That's good. If you do feel sick or whatever, take it easy in the middle of the stream. Don't worry too much about it. I have a fan going, so if it fucks with the audio to either the Discord call people or the stream people, I apologize, but also it's fucking hot, so you're gonna have to deal with it. All right, so that's just what you're gonna have to deal with.
So.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, all of that is set. I did make sure I posted in the places. We have posted, and I think there was one more thing I wanted to grab. I wanted to grab the afterword for Volume 4 and put that in the channel so that we have that for later. I also still have to think of the name. I pondered this for a bit and I don't like it, but I'm gonna say it for now until I think of a better one. We're gonna be Pandora Borg, and I don't like it, but we're gonna find a different one later. We'll find a different one later. Wait, I'll stylize it like they do. We'll make the Borg a capital B in one word, like they do for Pandora Hearts, apparently.
No, you see, this is going to be like the anime book club where we'll just never find a better one.
Maybe. You know, it might happen. I'm just like, there's got to be a perfect name for me to use here. There's got to be a perfect name. I don't know if it'll be there. I don't know. All right,
Find out today.
Oh yeah, I was looking for the.
Yeah, you actually have to come up with the name by the end of the stream.
Oh, all right.
That...
Well, it's a lot of
I feel like
pressure.
Wolfbox works better than Pandora Borg.
What?
Like Pandora's box, Wolfbox.
You want me to call myself a wolf box?
Yeah.
No, you see, that's actually an Umineko reference.
That's true.
Changing your name is an Umineko reference.
It's true.
True.
It is.
That's true.
I mean, yeah. Many things are Umineko references. Okay, many things.
Maybe a little too many things, honestly. You know,
Refusing to reference Umineko
No,
is an
hold on,
Umineko
Homestuck.
reference.
This is true. That's actually true. I remember that from the goat heads at the end. Listen. All right, let's see here. And then the Twitch chat over here, and then the YouTube chat over here. All right, we are ready. Are we all here? Are we all ready? Are we all good to go? All right, I'm just gonna assume yes because nobody has shouted no. Oh my God, what are we gonna do if Emily's not ready?
Okay.
Is Emily ready?
Emily's still getting her little wig on.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Wants to be pretty.
That's fair. That's fair. And I'm gonna turn off the pre-show now. Welcome everybody to another exciting week of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, all at the same time every Thursday night. We are here to continue our discussion about Pandora Hearts. We are on volumes 3 and 4 for this week. But before we get into that, let's go through the guests that we have for this week in alphabetical order as usual. Arimia, Alice, introduce yourself.
Couldn't think of anything better, so.
See,
Hi.
name's pending for both of us, okay? Name's pending.
Listen. Hi, I'm Arimia. I like shonen shit. Nothing to recommend this week. Nothing's good. No, I'm kidding.
There is no good anime. I mean manga.
Oh, wait, did I mention the no, because we were on break. I didn't mention I finished this really good book, unless I mentioned this last week and I completely forgot, which is totally liable to happen. I finished this book, The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep by H.G. Perry. An actual book, a novel. Wow.
Oh my god.
Not a visual novel either. No
Oh my
visuals. Can you
God.
believe it? They
I
make
can't
those.
see.
It was incredibly Umineko code.
Damn it.
It was very
Fucking wrong.
it was really, really good. Really dove into it was just a love letter to literary
Umineko?
criticism and the ways that writing is a form of communication between people. Not just the form of writing, but the form of interpreting said writing is just a love letter to all of that. It was good.
Sweet. All right. Anything else?
No.
All right, go check
Parish.
that out. All right, Parish, or go check that out if you're interested in that. Take your choice on that. Thank you so much for that. Aztec, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aztec, and I'm reading manga because I have things to read. Yay. I don't really have any recommendations this week. Nothing good's coming out. I anti-recommend the Switch 2. Wait until I have some games.
True. Get
All
a Steam
right.
Deck
What-
instead.
The Switch
Ton of
2
games
has
on that.
no games.
Does it have like Mario Kart and that's it?
Pretty much. I think that's its only real like exclusive right now. It gets Donkey
Sweet.
Kong in a month.
Sweet.
That is literally the only thing I've seen people play on it so far. Like all the midnight streams, immediately Mario Kart and nothing else. I'm like, is this the only thing on it?
It's
I
like you
heard
can
Heart
play
of
the
the Woods
games
is
you
on it.
already own slightly
think
better,
Adult
I
Swim
guess.
is on
Part
Yeah,
of the woods, you say?
yeah. I've seen a photo of someone playing Heart of the Woods on Nintendo Switch 2. I
Oh
will
my
neither
God.
confirm nor deny if it actually works because I don't have a Switch 2.
Oh
but-
my god.
Yuri.
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 Sweet. Yeah, so is that it, Aztec? Anything else?
No.
Sweet. All right, thank you so much for that. Lady Galaxy, introduce yourself.
Oh no, that's me. Hi, I'm Marianne or Anne, whichever you prefer. I'm just Deltarune Brain, forever
Sweet.
now. Goodbye.
Sweet. Did you finish it, the new chapters yet?
No, I finished chapter 3. I'm partway through chapter 4. I'm doing like an optional boss thing that is kicking my ass.
Well, sweet. Well, good luck with that. Go check out Deltarune if you were interested in that. Volumes or chapters 3 and 4 just came out. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
they really need the publicity.
yeah.
You know, let's go
You
go get
know.
them. Totally
Yeah.
fucked.
Wasn't
I-
on the front page of Steam and the front widget and the front banner.
Oh, okay. You know, I gotta mention this, by the way. Why the fuck is your name Toy Fox, but your icon's a dog? What have you done?
Listen,
He
It's-
contains multitudes.
it's a family name, all right? It's okay. It's
It
fine.
probably is. It probably is. And that
I
explains
don't
it
I
all.
don't know if that's his real name or
Why
not.
is your
Li-
name
Listen.
Shadow and you're not a shadow?
True.
Well, I mean, you know,
Both
look,
false said.
a very liberal use of the word shadow here, okay?
Are there really 4 versions of you?
There's actually more.
Oh, that's impressive.
They just stopped using
Again,
numbers.
lying.
They started using Greek letters at some point.
Oh,
Why
sweet.
didn't we get the most recent version?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked. Anyways, thank you so much for that. Anything else, Lady Galaxy?
Nope.
All right, sweet. Next up is me, Pandora Borg, aka Wolfborg, aka Chaplin, aka the best anime book club host you've ever heard of, because I've been the only host of this one, the best ever. I would recommend. I've been playing through Death Stranding, and it is a very unique time. It is Kojima is a very interesting dude with how he creates his worlds and gets you to still somehow enjoy walking around delivering packages with all the realistic annoyances that comes with walking around delivering packages.
Come on, Shep, it's the first Strand type game.
It's the very first Strand type game. This is true. He said so himself. He said so himself. Death Stranding has been a very interesting experience, and I'm excited to continue grinding through it all to try to beat it in time for Death Stranding 2 at the end of this month. And then I have to buy a PS5 to actually play that, though. So I had forgotten it's a PS5 exclusive, so I have to actually get a PS5.
One game. Well,
It has one game, and then I can play all my other PS4 games on it too. So why not? Fuck it.
You also just wait until it gets ported to PC anyway.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to wait a year or two for it. So I'm playing Death Stranding, the first one on PC, and then I'm gonna play Death Stranding 2 on a PS5 that I eventually get. Probably. That'll probably be the plan. Anyways,
I like to mention playing both Death Stranding games back to back. I'm not sure if this is okay for your mental health.
it will be fine. Okay, I will become the best Amazon worker you've ever heard of in the apocalypse. Okay, ever. Jeff Keighley is gonna get all of his Gundam figures and T-Rex models delivered right to him. This is real missions that happen in this game, okay? Anyways.
Can't verify.
Anyways, that's me. Next up, Sinner Shino. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shino, the resident cute girl enjoyer. For my recommendation this week, I've been watching some of the cute girl seasonals recently, and I think probably the best one is Ninkoro, the one with the ninja and assassin living together. It's pretty cute. Also animated by Shaft.
Yep. Based. Amazing. I think we watched the first episode, and I think that was one that I highly rated on score-wise, and I wanted to go back for. So go check that out. I think I actually, in another server, somebody had recommended somebody else to check out the manga, and I said I watched the first episode, and I thought it was great, and that they definitely should check it out. So I would also recommend that. Next up, Sinnerman V4. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shadow. I don't have anything to recommend. Fuck you.
Okay, well, I
Rude?
guess that's one way to do
Once
it.
again, just unnecessarily hostile.
That's one way to do it. All right, well, thank you so much for that,
the
Shadow.
wrong way.
All right, well, anything else, Shadow?
No.
Sweet, based. Next up, Turndo, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Turndo, and I like to read.
And that's all you need to be here. And then we have Emily Fan Club, who is at the end of the list because of the fancy lettering of the name. I keep forgetting that's why.
It's not my fault.
But it's also
True.
in the middle on
I'm
Twitch.
Spaghetti. I'm the
Yes.
president of the Emily fan club because I love Emily. That's my favorite character. And I also recommend Deltarune. It's a great game. It's goated. My favorite character got a story arc. We're excited. We're just glowing. We're just vibing. Play Deltarune.
Can I ask who your favorites?
Rules card.
Oh, you're understandable. No,
You know why?
I'm Team
You know
Roll
why?
Card.
With the most amazing storyline.
That was something. Yeah.
It was great.
Well, if you play Deltarune, you understand what's happening here. You're in the know.
Exactly.
Some of us are not in the know, but you in chat,
Get on our fucking
Deltarune
level.
player, you're a knower, okay?
Yes.
You understand. You know.
Just all I gotta say is happy Pride. That's all I gotta say.
Happy
Damn,
Pride.
So true.
Happy Pride, everybody. All right, anything else, Spaghetti?
Oh, that's it.
Sweet. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for all of that. And now it's time to begin our discussion this week. Pandora Hearts, Volumes 3 and 4. Well, I'll first start off by saying, so the discussions we had before about wondering, how much it was going to lean into the repressed trauma theme angle, yeah, that's 100% where everybody is going with this, it seems, which, again, we knew that it was probably going to explore it, but this week it 100% confirmed this is where everybody's going pretty much. So it's interesting to see how it's going to play with that. I did also notice I went to start volume 4 and I was like, there's an entire ass comedy chapter at the beginning of this after a whole bunch of shit happened. I'm like, holy shit, we're doing arm wrestling. The uncle's back. What was his name? Uncle Oscar. The uncle's back in the middle of the arm wrestling. I mean, we saw him a little bit before, but he just comes back during that. And then we just go back to a whole arc with like another different. It wasn't the Abyss. It was like a whole different area with the Cheshire Cat and all that. So it was a whole thing. That was Volume 4. Volume 3 had a whole bunch of other stuff happening. So we're gonna go over through some of the key events that happened here. I have here a list of some of the new characters we were introduced to this week, just to try to keep in my head who's a new introduction to our thing here. Some of the ones I've written down, Vincent Nightray, who is revealed as the younger brother of Gil. I guess they are actually brothers, 1 year apart, who both were adopted by the Nightray family. Vincent adopted first, and then they found out about Gilbert later. That he was living with that other family. So Vincent is now a part of the cast. Fucked up an evil brother? Question mark. I can't tell. I do know he murders a father, but it was supposedly because he was gonna kill Oz. I forget if it was Oz he was about to kill, but
Yeah.
And he has it. So there's somebody else named Echo. Is she supposed to be Vincent's like servant, assistant, or like the same kind of role Gil plays to Oz? Maybe, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So those two were introduced. We also had, for some reason, they gave a name to the child that was involved with the arc where those two were introduced. We had another case of small child in the area that are our main three, Gil, Alice, and Oz, run into. The child here was not the one in the illegal contract this time, though. It was his father that was in the illegal contract. And so they had to fight the dad and his chain that he had, which I think the chain's name was Grim. And the Grim was a chain that we had heard or had broken out, or illegal contractor or something. They broke out of some Pandora area, and I think the implication was supposed to be they might have been let go on purpose to get them killed, and that they believe there might be like a traitor in Pandora or something to that effect. There was a couple lines that kind of implied that stuff, but I wasn't exactly sure. So we had this small child had a name be it associated with him, which I was surprised with. The last child that we had that was involved with an illegal contract thing, and then instantly went to the Abyss. I don't even think she got a name. The like flower girl from the last week. I don't even think she got a name. This one, his name was like Philip West, and his father was like William. I don't know if he ever comes back, but apparently they named him. So they named him, and the child, as far as I'm aware, is still alive. So I don't know what's if they're going to be coming back, but they gave him a name. Perhaps he will be important later. I don't know. We also had a character named, I think you pronounce it Rame, who
Rame, yeah.
From what I could tell, appears to be another person within Pandora. And the uncle came back. Apparently, the uncle just kind of... I remember last week being like, okay, what happened to the Oscar? What happened to... His name is Oscar, right? I just want to make sure I'm getting it. His name is Oscar? Or was it a different name?
Oscar.
Huh?
No, you're right.
Okay, so I am right. Okay. I kept thinking, oh yeah, that's Uncle Oscar. And then I'm like, wait a minute. For a second, I think to myself, it's Uncle Oz. But I'm like, no, the main character's name is Oz. His name is Uncle Oscar, not Oz. Okay, all right, well, whatever.
Completely different.
Yeah, completely different. So he just kind of...
Original character do not steal.
I was like, he's been gone, and you know, Oz, when he comes back from the Abyss, he's not immediately like, where is my uncle? Where is my sister? He thinks more about where is Gil first, and then it turns out Gil's right there. And the uncle is just like
are very good here.
the uncle like knows that they're still there and like peeks in on them while they're sleeping at some point or like hanging out at some point for like the end of a chapter, and then the next chapter he like just walks up to them during an arm wrestling contest to get Gil's hat back. The entire point of that chapter was just Gil being like, I want my hat back. We have to get my hat back. And so they go to arm wrestle with several people who they believe have just taken his hat. And Oscar just takes over for one of the people. And this is how we've reintroduced to Oz that Oscar is not only still alive, but he's just here. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess they're reunited now, yay. But also, I feel like I would have several questions. But apparently he wouldn't be able to answer those questions anyways, probably, because it sounded like there was a clarification that everybody's memories of the ceremony were wiped, basically. I don't know if it was by the Baskervilles or something else, but essentially, there was like a line or two that had reference saying that people who were there don't actually remember the details of what happened at the ceremony after it happened. Perhaps it's repressed trauma for everybody.
As you do.
You know, it was kind of horrific, probably, what happened. So we had that whole situation happen with that stuff. And then later on, we get into the little Cheshire Cat stuff, which had a lot going on with it. Let's focus on this first segment first, roughly around the Volume 3 stuff. How did we feel about the little arcs that we had towards the beginning of this with the going through and dealing with the parallel, or not parallels, I guess. Well, maybe the differences between Oz's history with his father that we've now seen a little bit of, and the history of this other father with the illegal contract and his son and all that kind of stuff. How did we feel about this bit? Are we liking the direction that we're going with how we're having our crew exploring and then exploring or encountering these different chains out there? Or how are we feeling about that? Or how are we feeling about our new characters? How do we feel? Anybody have any feelings? Sweet.
Sorry, what was the question?
How do you feel? What did you feel about the reading this week?
Oh, I feel like they didn't try that hard to get Oz out of the abyss in the last 10 years. I feel like they may have made no attempts at all, as a matter of fact.
Really? What makes you say that?
Having been shown no attempts at all in any of the flashbacks. They just kind of happened to be in the room when he popped up.
I do remember Break mentioning...
They just see him come back and they're like, oh shit, we can take credit for this.
I mean, because Break was trying to tell Gil, we see flashbacks of him getting... The backstory for Gil joining the Night Ray family was finding out that his brother was alive and a part of that family, and that they wanted to adopt him into it, and Break convinces him to go for it, because he wants Gil to become a spy for Pandora in there, or maybe specifically him in there. And so to convince him even more so, he brings up like, hey, the chain that family has access to, the Raven, I hear that it's powerful chain that could help you bring back Oz. Just saying, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You should do it.
I'm just saying, Break might be a little bit of a rat-think bastard. You know, he's probably telling him there's a Klondike bar in there if he wanted a Klondike bar.
Bro,
Me?
oh yo.
How can such a handsome man be evil? That's impossible.
I don't know if we're supposed to like Break or not. I do. He's still just
I
clearly
love
creepy.
him.
You know, we don't want to.
And then Vincent's like a neat parallel to Break, and he's like the bad kind of creepy.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I saw that panel with him and Echo. That was not okay.
Yeah.
I I actually really liked one detail with, I mean, of course, I'm noticing all of Break's parts, but I noticed that they would change his typeface sometimes.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, like I really like that. It reminds me of like American comics when they do the same thing. And I was just like, oh, this is some more storytelling. And I really love those little details.
Yeah. Yeah, Break, I'm trying to remember some things that I wanted to bring up related to Break this week. Oh, the detail about Break's eye. He's missing an eye, and specifically mentions that it was taken. By who and when, I don't remember if it was mentioned, but he says, my eye's been taken, and I think I specifically wrote down in my notes, he says a line to Gil for how to become a spy for him, as, you will act as my missing eye, or something to that effect. You will act as my eye that I don't have, because you know that I'm missing an eye. And also, I just want you to be a spy for me, okay? Go do that. Go be a spy for me, alright? Maybe you can get Oz back. I'm not gonna do it. I'll take credit for it. I'm not bringing him back, okay? Good luck.
Can't do it.
Good luck. Go do it. And then, what else? Oh, I remembered a funny bit where Alice is just walking an alley and is like, oh, what the fuck is that thing on the wall? And it's it's Break. It's like, oh, how'd you see through my ninjutsu or whatever?
He's always making that smile too, which is like...
Yes,
Dude,
this frame. I'll show it on
with
stream. Oh, you noticed me. Oh, how'd you see me there? Emily's just sticking out. Oh god.
I don't know. Break just has this like mythological presence to him. You know, he comes out of nowhere and disappears back into nowhere.
You know? Sometimes he just walks into like kitchen cupboards and disappears. It's just what he does.
Sometimes he comes out of a goddamn table. Why not?
It happens. I mean, that kind of thing happened in Chrono Trigger, I think, recently too. When I played that, you just kind of show up out of a
closet.
Out of a closet there, you know.
It
just happens.
My favorite frame of the week.
Let's see here.
At least his weird teleportations got like explained.
Oh yeah, through
the Kubrick stare.
It was explained through what's her name, shadows that are basically act as portals. What is her name? Sharon? Sharon? Yeah.
You mean Shannon?
Sharon. No more Mineko for the rest of the night for you, mister.
Not until we talk about the chessboard, okay?
Not until we get to the chessboard, of course.
And the sin of hating cats. That was also a new Mineko reference, yeah.
Of course.
Which I didn't realize this week that Gil not liking cats was going to be plot relevant this week. Didn't realize that.
I realized it. I called that shit last week.
Oh, I didn't realize how big of a plot relevance it would be. I suppose I don't know because. By the way,
it does feel a little fast for that particular Chekhov's gun to have come back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I will say the Cheshire Cat design. I looked at that. I'm immediately like, I don't know how they're gonna do it. This guy's joining the main cast, and they're all gonna like hang out together as a group. They're not. I don't.
He's gonna be a cat.
Yep. They're just gonna hang out with I don't know what their relations are with this Cheshire Cat with like Pandora and all of them at this point, but this is a Vegeta situation. Okay, they're the bad guy now. They're about to join the squad and become like one of the most well-known people in the squad. Okay, it's just gonna happen. I think it's just gonna happen.
Literally just been Alice's pet.
Probably. What'd you say?
I said lucky.
Oh, lucky. What else do we have here for this week? We also had oh, the Night Ray family allegedly killed Oz's mom. that was a big reason why Gil did not want to join the Night Rays at first. Not just because they were like, I mean, not just because it was leaving that family, but also because it was to leave the family for another family that allegedly killed Oz's fucking mom. So we have been confirmed to us that Oz's mom is dead, and then later on we were told that she's dead through murder. Oh wait, I think I still have the panel that Spaghetti sent on screen. I gotta put Break away. We're not talking about Break anymore. Okay, Break is done. Break is
Can we
canceled.
talk more about Break?
We could talk more about Break.
We could. What do you have to say about Break? What do you have to say about Break? See, nothing.
Just a little
See?
guy.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. What more is there to say?
He likes
A picture's
using
worth a
Little
thousand
scrungo.
words.
likes using Alice as bait to bring out the Cheshire Cat, get them both trapped in there, and
Likes
then
to smile. He
leaving.
likes to be a part of people's lives, whether
He
they
leaves-
want it or not.
He leaves literal trails of candy so people can find him. It's
He's very considerate that way.
He's so, you know what he reminds me of? Santa Claus.
he knows. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows.
Break is coming to town. This is a thread.
What does Emily represent in the Santa Claus narrative here?
I think she's Emily.
She's an elf.
Oh, okay. It's not like the spirit of
Elf Emily.
Christmas.
She likes to help Santa.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I mean,
That's
Break.
fair.
That
Was.
a Rudolph.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay. So that was Break. Good for a break. Let's take a break from Break. Let's talk about Alice. Alice had a little bit added on for this week. The Cheshire Cat situation, this whole dimension that the Cheshire Cat resides in appears to be different from both the real world and the Abyss. It is its own separate dimension, which I believe at some point they just literally said was created by Alice at some point. And created through her memories or via her memories, or at least her memories are just roaming around here, and some of these memories are twisted versions of them. Others are I think the main thing that they were trying to get across here was that Alice might be saying she wants her memories back now, but these memories have been here because she did not want to keep these memories, and so I, the Cheshire Cat, am here to prevent that from happening for reasons. Because she does not actually want those memories, especially that memory. You know, that memory. We don't want that memory coming back, okay? Everybody's got the repressed trauma, all right? Sometimes it's more directly stated than others. Sometimes you have to have a Cheshire Cat come out and say, we don't want that memory to go back to her. And other times you get somebody calling little Oz a freak, a freaky kid, for smiling all the time. Sometimes you get that. These are the two different ways that's handled. By the way, fucking Oz's dad, okay, bro,
Piece of shit.
what is going on with him? First of all, we only got to sort of kind of see him, I think, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? Are we like, is this Tuxedo Mask? What is this fit we got going on? He's like all.
It's called. Listen, it's called
Drip?
Divorcee Dad that's mourning his wife. He's mourning the fact that he couldn't be divorced because she's dead.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that's a very specific fit. I
So
didn't
he's now
realize.
divorcing his son.
Men's
I mean,
Warehouse
can you
gets
not tell
really.
that from immediately looking at the fit?
Men's Warehouse gets really specific when you ask them for it. I understand. Oh my god.
The kind of
I
man
have
who
that one in
wants to
Nikki?
be Elon Musk.
Oh boy. Well, what else was? Yeah. So Oz's dad. So we had the flashback of Gil. Gil was like, "Oh, your father doesn't hate you. I'll go, give this gift to him right now, and then tell him to go hang out with you or something." And he goes, and Oz is just following behind to like hear the interaction, and the dad's like, "That little shit, my precious child. What do you mean, my precious child? I have no shot." I think I wrote down exactly what he said. Yeah, a child like that should never have been born. Obviously, I think he kept calling him a vile child, or something like a vile creature or something. So, with the way he was talking about him, I think I'm leaning towards, I think it was Aztec or somebody else in here had mentioned it last week, the idea that Oz is probably like a half child of some sort, like a half like human or something.
He's only
maybe
half a child.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I mean,
That's
he
what
is
you call a
technically 25.
teenager,
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
So it might be something like that. Like maybe he's a very like maybe he's, I don't know if he's technically a part of Pandora, but he seems like the type of dude to me who'd be like against potentially like all chains and think they need to all be eradicated. And if his son is potentially like half chain, would probably be conflicted about how he feels about his existence, potentially, and is being told not to get rid of him for Pandora reasons, potentially.
That. So
about that.
We found out there's like 5 doors to the abyss.
Yes. Specifically,
each of the dukedoms have one.
Yep, each of the dukedoms,
which includes Oz's family.
Yep. And then there's a 5th one that's held in secret by the Baskervilles. The 4 dukedoms, I think it was also explained, they were established based on the heroes who saved the country like 100 years ago. There's incidents from a incident or multiple incidents from 100 years ago in which basically established the dukedom. This has been referenced a couple times for this week, just to give us the backstory about that, and then to also explain to us that there are 4 doors, which the Pandora has access to all 4 doors right now, but they need the 5th door in order to, because everybody's looking for the intention of the abyss, and if they have all 5 doors, they will be able to hopefully obtain it or find out more about it or something to that effect. So they're looking towards doing that right now, and I thought there was some other detail, but I didn't write a lot of notes for Volume 4 because I was trying to make sure I finished it. Yeah, because I remember that detail. There was a couple Baskervilles that were shown to us for a bit when they were introducing this concept. I didn't write down their names, but they seemed pretty interesting. I did note that they had mentioned someone, I think named Glenn Baskerville, was the head of the Baskervilles at a certain point in time. I don't know if that means they currently are still, but they mentioned him. We did also get an appearance from what I believe to be the character that we kept seeing before that I had theorized was like Oz from the future or something like that. Apparently they are Jack Vasilius, or however you say the family's name. Does that imply they're supposed to be from the past? I didn't remember. I thought somebody had mentioned the name Jack before. I didn't know if this
he was
like
the hero from.
Oh, so he was the hero. Okay, all right. Because I didn't know if this was like a grandfather or like a great thing. So if it was the hero from 100 years ago, then okay. So then that's Jack. If we are to believe that this character is who he's saying he is, and not that he's Oz from the future just lying about his name or whatever. Because I wondered that too for a moment.
If Oz from the future is also Jack, you didn't think about that.
That's hey, nothing stops you. Nothing stops you from naming a future child the same name as great-grandparent, great-great-great-great-granddaddy. Nothing stops you. Nothing stops that. So they just kind of showed up in the middle of the Cheshire Cat dream sequence stuff. Not dream sequence. It's not. Well, I considered it dream sequence stuff because they're fighting Alice's memories and shit. So in my head, that's how I was seeing it, but I understand this is essentially supposed to be like the Cheshire Cat's like domain or whatever. He kind of showed up and was helping out to go save Alice. So I believe that the knowledge of this character, Jack, and this stuff kind of is making me think back towards the first scenes in last week's volumes where Oz meets Alice for the first time. Alice clearly knows him already at this point, but Oz has never met Alice before. So that's where we get the hint of time shenanigans going on. But potentially, who she met was not, or who she knew was not actually Oz. Perhaps that Alice knew Jack, and then memory wipes happened, and now she's meeting Oz for the first time later on. I don't know the order of events, but perhaps it is something to that kind of effect, where there's not like total time travel shenanigans happening completely. Obviously, Jack still being there probably means there is time travel shenanigans still going on to some degree. I'm not exactly sure. He was saying he's a remnant of Jack, or the soul of Jack, or something like that. So you might not physically be there, or something like that. I'm not sure the mechanics of how Jack is here, okay? But he's here, all right? I like how he looks. He looks pretty cool, I think. I'm interested to see if he sticks around for very long and what role he might play. But for right now, he just showed up and then got Oz to teleport to go save Alice. And then that was essentially where they ended the volumes for this week. And what else was there that was important for this week? Oh, we had a... Well, this is not really important. There was a little bit where I think this was to start off Gil's backstory sequence about Oz's father towards the beginning of this week's reading. It was like an argument between Alice and Gil to see who knew more about Oz, which Alice, I think, was just doing as a bit to learn more about Oz. I couldn't understand the dynamics of who was winning.
No, Gil was like saying, "Hey, don't insult Oz until you know about him." It's like
okay.
you don't know his story, and she's like, "So tell me his fucking story." And then we got story.
Oh my god, Turndo in the chat. The amount of
And then
times...
she also had to like pretend she wasn't interested.
Oh yes, I understand. Yes. The amount of times Wolfborg says Jack makes me think of Jack the Ripper rather than Jack of Vasilius. Listen,
Well, if it isn't Saucy Jack.
these days when I say Jack, okay, I'm thinking of Jack from Lost. I'm thinking of Jack from Lost, because I've been rewatching Lost, alright? And Jack's like the main
Get
character.
in the Victorian era! Yeah.
Listen, what do you have to say about Jack? Name 3 Jack facts. Go.
And Jack in the Box is a half decent
Green
restaurant.
eyes, long hair.
Those were, in fact, the three ways that Gil described them before he said, Oz, is that you?
Guess what? Last name, Vesalius.
Whoa! What? No way. No way. All right. Well,
She's got you there.
Guess what, Jack?
Okay. Well, that's 4 Jack facts.
Looks like you don't know Jack.
Oh. Wow.
That's what we call like thespian comedy.
Goes deep.
All right. Was there any messages I missed here in the chats? Turndo, I see you messaging in the chats. Do you want to speak yourself at all? Do you have any things you wanted to say for the stream?
Not particularly.
Okay, fair enough. I was just seeing you typing the messages up, and I didn't know if you like wanted to express these yourself and you were just writing them down or something like that. But that's fine. Okay.
So speaking of Jack.
Yes. What about Jack?
So we have been introduced to. We have a proper name for him, I should say. Now we know that this is Jack Vesalius. Because we saw him in the first 2 volumes.
Yep.
So, what are some thoughts about him?
I'm not entirely convinced there's not some time travel shenanigans going on where Jack is Oz.
Hey.
Again, yeah, my thoughts immediately is like, okay, he's saying he's Jack, but I don't know. He might just be saying that, and he's actually just Oz. Might be potentially.
Winako.
I don't know. I don't know what the original Jack looked like to be able to say otherwise. But it's a name I remember being referenced before, so I was like, okay, maybe. But also, he looks too fucking much like Oz, and
Well,
I
he
don't.
is a Vesalius, so.
Sure. Perhaps
on that one.
Perhaps my image of the Vesalius has been warped at looking at Oz's dad's drip, and focusing too much on that. Perhaps, I don't know.
He is pretty dripped out, yeah.
It's quite the fit, I will say. This is the I hate my child drip. I understand. Jack,
the official name.
I don't really have too many thoughts about Jack other than just like I don't know if I necessarily trust how he has introduced himself necessarily. I do feel like he does have good intentions and he does want to help Alice, and he probably again, like I had said earlier, he probably was the person that Alice was actually thinking that she recognized at the beginning when it was just Oz, potentially. Those were my thoughts about Jack. Other than that, I don't know this fucking guy yet. I just met him. All right, I think he looks cool. I will say that. Why? Did you have anything you wanted to say about Jack?
No, I just wanted to hear what y'all think about him now that we have because we met some new characters these 2 volumes, but
Yep.
Jack we'd already kind of met.
Yes.
We just actually have a name for him now.
I will also say, Echo, okay, introduced this week. I like Echo, from the brief times that we got to see her. She seems pretty neat. I was confused when she was first introduced, and he immediately goes, "Oh, the flower girl." I'm like, what? Didn't she go to the abyss last volume? What are you talking about, the flower girl? And then
The other flower girl.
I had to look
2.
back and remember that there was a second flower girl, quote unquote. It was just, he was walking in, this is like the end of the volumes for last week. He was like walking through the fucking hallways. The clock on his chest ticked ahead, and he was like, my fucking chest. And then he like falls to the ground and passes out as he like sees a woman above him. And I guess in that one frame, she had flowers in her hand. I couldn't fucking tell that there were flowers in her hand, but apparently she had flowers in her hand. Then I realized, oh, so that's what they were talking about finding the envelope at the beginning. Because there was apparently an envelope at the beginning of this week that had Vincent's name on it that Gil found and read, and then was trying to be secretive about, that had to do with the incident that they were in town looking towards, I guess. The Grim incident, probably, or the just the illegal contractor incident, I don't know. But anyways, that confused me for a bit, because I was like, why are we saying the flower girl? I was like, the flowers that she had in that panel were not very prominent. They were like off to the side. You could barely see them. They were like held down. I was like, I don't know if I would have said, oh, it's the flower girl. And then she was like, oh, you were the guy who was sleeping that I almost stepped on. You should not like sleep on the floor. It disrupts traffic. I'm like, I don't remember any of this interaction happening. What are we talking about here? So I had to go back to the previous volume to be like, what the fuck did I miss? What did I blank on? Because again, I was still thinking, when he said the flower girl, I was thinking the flower girl that had the whole incident in the city. And I kept looking back. I'm like, that's not what happened there at all. What the fuck are they talking about? And then like I found out later on, it's like, oh, this happened too. I see. But yeah, I do. I like Echo's design. I liked their little comedic moments that they have. I will say this about the author. Their comedic moments with this stuff are very fun. Very, very cute. I enjoy them a lot. I don't know how I feel about the balancing of them at this point. Like, I don't know how I felt about an entire chapter of an arm wrestling event to get back Gil's hat.
Fucking hat.
Which also was used to just reintroduce Uncle Oscar and then move on. I was like, all right, I guess. is funny, but you know, we got people are dying, and we need our memories back, and I don't know. Okay, and it was very important to get back the hat. Okay, it was very important. But again, very nice comedic moments with the panels, so I don't mind them too much because the author very clearly has a fun time with them, and then I have a fun time reading them.
They also have like a certain shitpost quality to them. I don't know how to describe it.
It's definitely 100% what you get when you have an artist that very truly has established a series and really does want to have fun with their characters in the middle of the series beyond just the bonus meme chapters. They want to have fun with them in a canon way, and I appreciate that they want to do that. I very much thought it was funny that the Gil being scared of cats would become a critical thing when the next big boss is not only is it the Cheshire Cat, he is like there for the entire arc, still there. We're still dealing with the cat, okay? It was not just like a one-off villain of the week that he had to deal with for that. This is the villain of, like, the arc here, I guess. I don't know if you would necessarily call the Cheshire Cat a villain towards the end, because, again, it does seem like the Cheshire Cat's job, which I think somebody else mentioned here, was probably to protect Alice's memories or protect Alice in some kind of way, and this was probably established as, like, her domain in some way for her cat, and this might be what's going on with that. Not exactly sure, but yeah. So I thought that was funny that we brought that back at that moment, and that they added on to it by saying things like they had Gil being like, I didn't expect that this was gonna happen. Nobody told me about this, and they're like, we've been calling it the Cheshire Cat for like 50 times now. What do you mean you didn't understand what was going to happen here? What did you think they were going to be? What are you talking about?
Oh, you fucking idiot.
And Sharon, meanwhile, Sharon is talking to them through shadow portals, which we've established as like one of their abilities. And I mean, the shadows can also be used for combat. I think it shows up as like a, was it like a unicorn or like some kind of horse thing at some point?
Unicorn, yeah.
So like the shadow thing has combat capabilities. In fact, they make a point of mentioning that the Cheshire Cat was trying to fight Oz and Gil themselves because the Cheshire Cat is probably terrified of going against Break and Sharon actually going against them because they're kind of fucking scary. They're pretty OP, and they just kind of are just waiting around and watching to see what Gil and Oz do, and see if anything funny happens with Alice. So, yeah, they're just... Break is doing Break things, orchestrating events happening. You know, we put children through some trauma therapy. By putting them in mortal danger. It happens. Happens sometimes.
We do that on occasion.
But sometimes. And alright. How did other people feel about the Cheshire Cat? I loved the Cheshire Cat's design. I liked their attitudes with this stuff. I liked them overall. How did everybody else feel about the Cheshire Cat? And do you agree with me with the idea of they're probably going to join the cast and just hang out with them? Because that's 100% where I lean towards.
They're too cool not to.
Yeah, yeah.
But the rule of cool wins again.
Yeah.
The sleeves, like, come on. You can't just throw away a character like that with sleeves like those.
Yep. Wait, let me get a good panel to show for the stream. Did we post like I think the intro panel of him was just like the perfect panel. Okay, I see that you posted that one. Was this the intro panel? This wasn't the intro panel. I want to find the intro panel because the intro panel I think was like probably the perfect panel to introduce their design. I was immediately like, all right, it's peak. Okay,
That's so good.
Yes, there we go. We'll go with this one. Open it up. Save it. Show it. Boom. There's the cat. Don't show this to Gil. He's very terrified of this. Gil hates this.
Gil's mortal enemy.
I'm not a shopping list. I'm a ghost. Ooh. Okay.
What?
You want to understand if you watch SpongeBob. I can't believe you haven't watched SpongeBob, okay? Everybody's watched SpongeBob.
That one's too obscure for me, sorry.
That one's not too obscure. That one's like, listen, I'm not going to go into this right now, okay? Listen, you gotta get cultured, okay? Listen, we'll deal with your SpongeBob education later. We're talking about the Cheshire Cat right now. We're talking about the Cheshire Cat right now, all right? So, by the way, I am saying that correctly, right? Cheshire Cat?
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay.
Close enough.
I was worried whether or not I would. It's one of those words that I've always seen and recognized, but I've never actually heard somebody pronounce. And so I tried looking up how you're supposed to pronounce it. And from what I understand, it is Cheshire. So I just wanted to make sure about that.
Trying to pronounce Worcester.
Listen. It's Worcester.
Actually,
This is how it
Cheeser
goes.
Cat.
Cheeser.
But yeah, once you see this design, you're like, yeah, this is just, it's great. And then he's like pretty cool with the combat. He's pretty. It's cool. It was cool. I very much enjoyed them being a long-term thing for them to go against. And they're definitely, in my mind, just gonna join the cast, and I'm excited for it, and I'm ready for the shenanigans and meme panels that we're gonna get from the author as a result of it. I'm ready for the bonus meme comics. This week we had, I think it was like Panda Hearts or something like that.
Yes, and then we also
Pandora
got
Hearts.
Pandora Hearts.
That was the best part.
What was the other one we had? Did we have another one?
There's another one. No, maybe it was last
Oh.
week.
The other one.
Oh yeah, the detective, the joke detective one. Break the something detective. I forget what it
Bumbling,
was.
I think.
Bumbling. The bumbling detective. Where it described. Oh yeah, that's where we got the frame of your sin is your very hatred of cats. This too is Umineko. Yes, this is true.
Yeah, this is an Umineko reference. Sorry.
Let me see if I can find. Let me grab that screenshot. Put it on there. Yeah, this too is Umineko right here.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Most things are Umineko, actually. That's what they don't tell you.
Yeah, the panels for this though, for the detective one, are just like, I guess I'll crack the case. Well, while I'm eating my candy here, and it's break, and it says his mouth spits out the one truth that has been veiled in darkness. And then next panel is just Oz being like, I guess I'll figure it out. I got nothing better to do. And then the one fact about him is just lies about his age. Gilbert's is a calcium deficient author whose works does not sell. Oh, well then. That's interesting. Yeah, so I'm trying to think what else we had here. What else do we have here? What stood out to you guys the most from this week? What was the thing that
Sharon's
we
a horse girl?
enjoyed? Say that again?
Sharon's chain is a unicorn?
Oh, the unicorn shadow thing, the chain.
Yes, Sharon's a horse girl, and we all should have known it.
This is true.
Very Cartesian Liechtenstein pilled the manga.
This is true.
Also, Vincent appears to have sent Echo to shank Sharon, so
As you do.
Listen, it's all according to plan. You just have to believe in Vincent's plan. Vincent was tricked into doing it by Break, obviously, in some way.
obviously.
All
So
according to
telling
plan.
me is without love it cannot be seen.
By the way, not only did Break just kind of grab Alice to get them taken by the Cheshire Cat, together. They not only were they leaving candy for a trail to find them, he also just left Emily there for them to figure out, hey, maybe we should go find Break, I guess. Why else would he leave Emily here? Why would he leave Emily here? Why is it?
Oz commits the ultimate sin, okay? He puts Emily on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, I
You
forgot about that.
fool! What have you done?
It's over now. This is how
That's why he's
Emily
so
takes
upset.
over. Oh, I think I remembered in that panel where they're like talking about like, all right, so we should like go see what's going on, see if we could save them. And Sharon's like, this is a dark portal that would take you directly to the Cheshire Cat's realm, where only danger awaits. And I was just like, all right, let's go. I'm on my way.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Gil's like, whoa, hold the fuck on. No, let's not. This is very dangerous, okay? But he was just like, all right, I'm ready to go. Oh, there was I think my favorite, one of the favorite comedy bits that stood out to me this week was Echo showing up and the one big panel page where he's like, my relation with Gil, I'm basically his owner, and yeah, so I teach him all about things. Very, you know, I like, yeah, yeah, that's how we are. And
Also,
Echo's just like,
non-color.
oh, I didn't understand. Well, thank you for explaining this to me. And they like both bow to each other. It's like a little expressive thing. I'm trying to find the page. I know I put it in here. Here it is. Oh, I had it and then it went away. Are you serious? Can't find. Oh, I copied the whole page. That's why. All right, I understand. Okay. Save. Put in here. This page. This is probably like my favorite comedy bit page from this week. Especially this smaller bit, which I'll make larger for the stream. I see. Please forgive my ignorance. No, don't worry about it. And they're just all bowing, and this pecory is very. It's cute. I like how the author does the comedy bits. Okay, at times, sometimes I feel like we do it for a little too long, like with the arm wrestle chapter. Other times I feel like it's added in properly enough to make it feel like, oh, that's a funny little moment, but not like distract me from like, okay, but we have important shit going on still, you know? So I feel like at times we balance it very, very well. So,
Hey, question for manga readers. If you want to bring up that panel again real quick.
yes, sure.
So for like sound effects, is it just consistent in manga that they'll like
So
for the
yes.
onomatopoeia for the sound effects, they'll give the Japanese version and then the English version?
So this is a stylistic choice that will depend. Some places will completely take out the sound effects, and only show the English translation of it. Others will leave the sound effect and then only put the English translation. In other cases like this, they will explain what the sound is supposed to be and then put the translation. Like, it's a stylistic choice based on the different publishers for that stuff. Usually, it largely depends on if the sound effects text is huge and taking up a lot of space, such as, for instance, I'll open up the top part here. This big sound effect for this one up here. Usually, if it's like that, many companies, even if they do try to take out the text, they will not take it out because doing so would require too much redrawing work for it
Takes
to.
too much effort is the problem.
Well, one, it's a lot of effort, and two, you know, once it gets to a certain point, it's essentially like you're redoing a lot of the art in order to make up the difference, and so they don't want to do that in some cases. So usually the easiest solution in those cases is to leave it and then just add in the translation and or just the regular sound underneath. And that's usually what they'll do. So it's a stylistic thing. It depends for the most part. This is what we're reading is the official translation of these things. So this is not like a fan translation of how that works. This is their stylistic choice for how they want to do that, which I believe this is through Yen Press. So
Yeah,
whenever
just
they
struck me as
translate it.
weird that like they'd have the Japanese there too, because like what's the point of doing the translation?
Yeah, I did notice that, and I want to think it is to convey the differences in what the sound is actually supposed to be, like the sound you're supposed to hear at that point, because that's what the sound effect is. Like you're supposed to hear a don, and then the translation is what this sound is supposed to like more closely represent in our language, I guess. I think this is mostly important for the comedic bits, potentially, because just translating bow is like that's the action that's happening, but the picori, like the sound effect, is what adds to the comedy because it's like a cutesy little sound as they're doing it. So those, and then like the don instead of like the bam or whatever, like that would be like an more intense sound, I guess. I think I've also seen it in some cases where they don't like try to translate what the sound is. They just translate what the text is to like the Japanese sound version of it, the Romaji version, however you say it. I think. So that's my understanding of that kind of stuff. I could be wrong about that. If you're somebody who's in the comments and you're just like, oh, he's fucking wrong, you can type it all up and I'll read it. All right, don't worry about that. Okay.
I was being cringe again. I should have known.
I might be cringe. I'm a big cringe. Maybe. But that's what I understand about that. It's a good question, though, because I did notice that, too, during that panel, because I was like, this is funny, but I was also like, wait, why did we translate? Why is bow in parentheses underneath? I understand that's the action, but, I was like, why did we have both there? And I thought about it, and I was like, it's probably for the comedic effect of the sounds of the bow.
No, it's just something they consistently do through the whole manga.
Right, no, I understand that they do it all the time, but there it was more noticeable for me, because there I was just like, there was, you know, in other cases, a lot of the other cases, I'm like, oh, there's no reason for them to want to take out the sound effect because there's other stuff going on, so they might just leave it because of that stuff. But there was no reason to. It's very easy to white out that text because it was just the Japanese sound effect and the white text around it. So it's very easy to take it out if they want to, and they just didn't there because stylistic choice. Either to keep it consistent with all the other ones and or for the comedic effect. I personally think it helped with the comedic effect, but I don't know. But so there's your typesetting, lettering ramble for this week. This does not happen often. Usually it only happens when we're reading dog shit fan translations. It's usually the only time we bring this up.
Rosen Maiden.
Rosen Maiden and Sailor Moon, I think, was also like that, right? So it's a thing. It's a thing. I think Sailor Moon's main problem was the typesetting, and then Rosen Maiden's was the actual translation. I don't remember if it was also typesetting, probably. Or letter.
Both.
I forget what the differences are, but yeah. Both. Yeah. But we're reading
Sadly.
the official translations. Official translations would never steer us wrong. Never.
Never.
Oh,
Never. Okay, so what else do we have here? Cheshire Cat, think is pretty cool. Gil's backstory stuff with the Night Ray family. Gaining access to the Raven. Supposedly the Raven can open a path in the Abyss, or to the Abyss, separate from the doors. I didn't understand fully if that was the implication. It sounded like it worked the same as the shadow portals in a way, so I wasn't exactly sure. The shadow portals didn't seem like they... I didn't know if the shadow portals were channeling through the doors, or if they don't matter towards getting into the Abyss, and it only really worked for the Cheshire thing. Oh, actually, maybe it was just the whole, like, shadow, like the shadow of, no, wait, but they said they couldn't get to break shadow because something has happened to him? I don't remember. I can't figure out exactly how our shadow abilities work for, like, what the limits are, but they're able to go into the Cheshire domain pretty easily, through the portals. And then Sharon was just able to just keep watching them and hanging with them once they got in there. Yeah. What else? Yeah. What else do we have? Shadow, what did you think of this week's reading? What stood out to you?
Well, just break doing goofy shit as always. That's what stuck out to me.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
I have had a strong appreciation for how Gil's first response to most adverse situations is to put a bullet in somebody's skull.
That's the American way. Like it was all I can
Classic.
say with that.
Frankly, more people should have that attitude. Solve a lot of
Damn.
problems.
Oh wow.
Well, you know, guns
In
are
Manga,
legal
in
everywhere,
Manga.
I would think.
In Manga, listen,
In Minecraft.
it's because they're not in Japan. They have access to guns more easily. You know, it's just it happens. It happens. Yeah, the gun. I remember the gun situation happening this week specifically, where Oz realizes damaging the chain will also damage the contractor, and he did not want the father, who was being held by Grimm, that chain, to like be killed. So he tried to tell Gil not to shoot, and then he was shot. And he was like, "Why the fuck did you shoot?" He's like, "I didn't shoot." And it was Vincent who showed up. It was like, blam. All right, problem solved.
It's a family trait.
My
That's
job
when I
here is done.
started
I started blasting. All right, guys. See you next
American
time.
way.
You know, Pop always said, aim for the head.
Listen, I saved the day here, okay? No need to thank me. All right, goodbye, everybody. And then Oz was fucked up afterwards because he was like, yeah, but I promised that kid I was gonna find his dad for him. I was gonna save him for him. And I was thinking, like, yeah, that's where you set yourself up to fail here. You barely knew this kid and, like, their situation and how these chains work, and you just made that promise. That's on you for feeling like shit about that. I don't know what to tell you about that. But also, he's going through his own repressed trauma, so I guess it's understandable. He would like to help out others, you know, and especially that one specifically was trying to show the parallels of, like, his relationship with his dad and how it's affected him growing up, and then this kid's relationship with his dad. This dad specifically entered into the contract with Grimm because, like with the last one, he was promised that if he does help, they will change his past in a way. And he wanted to, he made a vague reference to, like, if he had only listened to something, or if he didn't listen to some people in the past, his wife would still be alive, they'd still have their money. I guess they used to have a lot of money, used to, like, live in a bigger house and have servants and everything, and then they probably got scammed or something to that effect, and they lost all their money, and so he entered into the contract, supposedly, I'd imagine, to try to give his son a better life, but in doing so has neglected his son, and even went so far as killing other people to appease the chain he's with, in order to get to potentially have a better life with his son. Which, again, I understand. I've been rewatching Lost. I don't know how many people actually watch Lost, but I've entered the arc of Lost where this exact plot line has also been happening, where a father in the show is doing pretty fucked up things to people, but it is for the good cause of, like, saving his son, and he feels like shit for it, but he is a father who cares enough about his son to want to do anything for him, even horrible shit for his son. And here he's doing it, but also, you know, it's very clear, you know, you're doing all this for him, but in doing this, you are, like, you don't have a son anymore, in a way. Like, you're not spending time, like, he doesn't care about where you guys live, or, like, you know, how your life is run, as long as you two are together, at least. That's all your son probably cares about, is what Oz is explaining to him. Not that it matters, because he just kind of gets shot and killed later, but he has the emotional moment to try to talk him down. Not much you could do about that because of the big demon thing that will kill anyways. But he's also worked through things on his end for what he would always want for his relationship with his father, because he's like, that's all I really wanted with my dad, is essentially what he's trying to say. Like, he just wanted, like, it didn't matter how long it would take for, like, his dad to come hang out with him if he was busy with work, as long as he actually would hang out with him. But in Oz's case, his dad just flat out said, I fucking hate my son. And, you know, that's gotta do a lot towards towards how he grows. He had focused a lot on trying to study hard so that he could impress his dad and hang out with him and talk with him and impress him, and it didn't mean shit. Probably because he might be like a half chain, half human thing, or some weird circumstance about his birth has made his father hate him in a way, call him a vile creature, say that he should never have been born, things to that effect. So we have that stuff going on, which I thought was handled very well in you know, at that point in time with the arc. That's the kind of storytelling that I like, where it's like the parallels between the current thing that's happening and how directly it connects to the past development of the character. So in a way, it's like showing us how the character got to where he is now, while also showing us how he can grow, and like the general core theme of this stuff, kind of similar to what we were discussing with Rosenmaiden prior, where a lot of that was getting better and accepting of yourself and putting yourself out there more instead of just locking yourself away and all that kind of stuff. Here it's accepting, recognizing your feelings towards why you are upset about these things, and not just trying to ignore it, smile it away, and just act like there's no problem. You know, acknowledging these these are things that I'm assuming. I'm making these bold assumptions, but I mean, I don't know. These are how I feel about these things. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about that stuff, or feel any differently about it, or have anything to add towards that maybe? I don't know. What do you guys think?
The emotional thing, there was a neat part early on in this reading where it's like Oz feels alone and Alice feels alone, and they're like, yeah, but we can be alone together.
Yeah, because I remember the panels about Alice trying to understand. Alice is like, I don't care about the brat themselves, but I know the feeling of being alone, and it makes a person cold. And yeah, man, I feel like with these moments, with this and how it goes with these things, this series is probably gonna fuck me up towards the end, with all these characters and how it addresses their different repressed traumas and stuff. I feel like it's gonna fuck me up. Well, I mean, we'll see.
No, this is a infamous, cozy, sweet,
You can't fool us.
heartwarming
Sorry.
series.
Well, that's what I thought when I saw Pandora Hearts and Pandora Hearts, and yeah. So, and you know, maybe it's fine, because immediately after
spin-off Pandora Hearts,
it's fine because immediately after the horrific father-son repressed trauma lore, we go into arm wrestling matches to get a hat. So, you know, I guess it's all worked out at the end. And Uncle Oscar's back, because why not? So, you know,
Yeah.
We're all doing good.
and then a cat shows up. Cats happen. They show up and they're
Furries,
like,
they're rising up. It's a whole mess.
listen, if the cat shows up and they're that cool and they're saying, they were even referencing like, oh, your chain is a raven, isn't it? Why don't you let the bird out of the cage? I'm getting a little fucking hungry over here. Like, all right,
Snack.
little snack. I want to eat a bird instead of a human. That's what I want right now. I think he was like on a chandelier at some point. It was just like, oh, well, you can't do anything here, so why don't you just let me hunt you mice instead? I'm like, oh, damn. We're trying to drop in all the cat stuff here with this, when they were just like, the moment Gil was like, what do you mean the Cheshire Cat is an actual cat? I didn't foresee this. And then they were trying to pull every like cat trait out that they could with this guy without making him like seem lame for it, and it worked out well. It made him seem pretty hardcore with it. And then they can balance that out with the meme drawings in like the bonus comics, where it's like just the Cheshire Cat with a cat toy. They're like, one of them was like using a cat toy on the Cheshire Cat in one of the drawings, I think. And I'm like, all right, this is great. I like it a lot. We did also get to briefly see Vincent's chain, which I guess puts him to sleep.
It's the dormouse, yeah.
What is the dormouse? I feel like this is a reference that I don't.
Dormouse.
It's the
Alice in
dormouse.
Wonderland. It's like the Mad Hatter's little mouse friend who's always falling asleep during tea time.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's in Alice in Wonderland as well.
I see. I understand.
It's a reference, chat.
Yeah.
Yes, Turndo, that's Echo and Alice.
Yes. Oh yes, all of the chapter arts are like just great. How do they do it every time? I forgot to like post them all in the chat for this week, but they're all great on like all of them, I think. Here's I'm showing on the stream the one that Turndo just sent. Oh yeah, there was another chain that we saw. I forget whose it was. Was it Vincent? No, I don't think it was Vincent. Who summoned the Mad Hatter? Someone summoned the Mad Hatter towards the end.
That was what was his name again? Jack.
Wasn't that Break?
Oh yeah, it was probably Break. I think in my notes I actually wrote that for Vincent, but it was probably Break.
But that was Jack. Hold on, I'm tripping now. Goddamn.
For the Mad Hatter? I don't know if that would have been Jack. I don't think Jack stayed for
Oh,
long.
never mind. I'm tripping.
It was like Break in his dream because he had the thing over his eye.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
I
it
see
is
it.
Break.
Yep. I see it now. I see the
Fair enough.
panels. And by the way, these shots of I think it was this big shot of the Mad Hatter being summoned, and then there was another shot of when the Cheshire Cat took them in, of like these big chain ominous presence shots that I think look super duper cool. I'm gonna show it on stream. Also, I do appreciate, well, at times I appreciate, and other times I don't, depending on the order that they fucking put it in. The 2-page spreads in the version we're reading, it will like show the 2-page spread, and then also show each individual page of the 2-page spread as like a closer zoom in thing, which I appreciated when I was reading at times because it made it easier than having to zoom into the 2-page spread to read the bubbles, while still being able to appreciate the 2-page spread. But it only really works if they order it properly. I think one of the volumes did not order it properly, and it was like you would get both sides of the 2-page spread and then the 2-page spread or something like that. I forget what the order it was, but one of them like did it the order in a certain way, like you see the right side, then you see the 2-page, then you see the left side. And I was like, okay, that works. And then I think one of them did it a different way. I don't remember what it was though, but it annoyed me when it happened. But anyways, here is an example of that. This is the Mad Hatter getting summoned. I think it's pretty cool. I think these shots are very cool. I think a lot of the 2-page spreads for this series are like amazing.
Yeah, the spreads are so nice.
Yep.
I think, I mean, not just like as a way to introduce characters, but also to like show their abilities. It really kind of like highlights like how big these creatures can become. Like the world is very expansive. You kind of hard to get like a perspective on the scale, and they do a really good job of that, which I always enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's such a JoJo pose, though.
These are. I did also think to myself too, like these are like not JoJo poses. I was thinking they were like fighting game finishing move poses or whatever. I was like, it would show this and would say victory or. And I mean, I think it's great for that though. I think it's great. I was like, when's the Pandora Hearts fighting game? Where is it?
You'll find there isn't already one though.
There might be one. I don't know anything about the Pandora Hearts franchise. I don't know if there's games. Are there Pandora Hearts games other than Kingdom Hearts?
Shut up.
Well, I will say, when one of them picked up Emily, I think it was Oz, and he tried to do a little Emily voice, I was thinking to myself, his version of Emily voice would just be a Mickey Mouse voice. I did think that in my head.
What?
That's how I read it.
Yeah, it's very rude.
I know, but that's how it would be. because it's not Break doing it, you know?
It's called identity fraud.
That's true. That's true.
Is a crime.
That kind of
one
behavior
point
is
by
not
death?
approved by the Emily fan club, by the way.
Fuse Hunter chat said, if there's an obscure Pandora Hearts fighting game, I'm a fan for life. I mean, we had a Numi Echo fighting game. Why not a Pandora Hearts one? Why not?
Look, okay, we traumatized less than 4 people last time playing fighting game on the Angle Club.
Apparently, she already made a fake fighting game.
Oh, we're not there yet.
I can't show it because it's spoilers, but
Okay,
it's one of
alright.
those. Like I said, she makes a lot of the ending ones
Oh,
as, like,
yes.
fake games, and one of these is definitely a fake fighting game.
I'm excited. Dude, they're very creative and they truly do have fun with these bonus meme panels for that stuff. I like them so much. It shows just how much fun this author really wants to have with all of these characters. And I appreciate it. I want to see more of that kind of stuff from authors, because I really do like it when they really do want to have fun with their characters like that. I like it. I like it a lot. Also, Fuse Hunter said it all returns to button bashers. It happens.
You know, that's what we do here.
I am surprised I'm not finding a visual novel, because a lot of shoujo josei manga from this, even shonen from this era, they just had a visual novel that was usually like loosely tied around the plots of the first half of the series, and either followed you like you were the main character along a pretty linear path, or you were like some nameless self-insert character that's just kind of there for the events of it. But I'm not seeing one of those for Pandora Hearts, which is a bit surprising to me.
I think you have to be the change that you want to see in the world, okay? You gotta get to work, you gotta lock in, you gotta make the very first and only Pandora Hearts fan VN.
Nah, there's definitely some. I've just never seen any.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. Gotta be, right?
Surely.
Right.
And if not, you can make history. Good luck.
Wow.
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm very much really enjoying the series so far. I mean, I think we said that might be one of the joke things in the future, right? A dating sim one or whatever. But yeah,
that was, yeah.
But again, I will say I am very much enjoying this series a lot more than I kind of expected. I think prior to reading this, I wasn't sure what kind of series I thought it would be, but I thought it was going to be the kind of series where I will follow like most of what's happening with the plot, but not be too invested or care much about some of the characters for it. I wasn't exactly sure. Just because I never really heard much about the series itself prior to consuming it. And so I'd never really seen any of these characters outside of this, which made me think that. But instead, I'm really liking like pretty much every character we're introduced to here, their designs, how they like how they're developed. I enjoy so much about like all of these characters and the overall like the way that we're introducing the different organizations and the plot elements and the general pacing of it. Bro, I will say, I don't know if it's just because we went through reading Sailor Moon recently and the pace, the way that was paced, okay? But this has been a big breath of fresh air when it comes to like pacing with some of these stories, I think, for like a long-term plot heavy deal. I very much appreciated this. You know, there is occasional villain of the week stuff, but it's more like we go into town and now we have to deal with this contractor here. That's only happened like a couple times so far now. And then we went into the Cheshire Cat situation. And even when we did have the villain of the week thing, for like the 2 chapters that it happened in, they were impactful villain of the week things in terms of like the the Grimm situation with the whole Oz father connection stuff. All that stuff I really liked. And yeah, I mean, in general, I'm not against villain of the week stuff as long as we're doing cool things with it. And I've said this for JoJo quite a few times with JoJo Part 3. JoJo Part 3 is my favorite because even though most of it is villain of the week stuff, it is interesting villain of the week stuff for me because the whole point of it is they all have stands, and the big part of it is not just punching harder, it's establishing that there is a stand that they have to deal with, what type of stand it is, and then how their stand can deal with that other stand. Because there's
then punching them harder.
Well, that was the only disappointing thing about the ending of Part 3. We won't get into that here for big spoilers, but yeah. But I mean, for the most part, a lot of that series was the dissection of establishing smartly how to approach these different enemies with that. So there is just a different, enemy every kind of week with that, but it's focused on how to approach them properly. And that's what I kind of liked with that. It made it a lot more fun. And here, it's less so about how to deal with these enemies and more so about the thematic connection between why they have entered the contract with these beings and what this character is currently going through, and how going through this will either develop our understanding of this character or how this character will grow from this experience currently. So I appreciate how this series is handling that, I think. So those are in general my kind of thoughts about this week. I very much really liked this week's reading. Now that we've already settled in with the basic premise of things from last week, and now we could just continue in on hammering in the themes and developing us up more and adding in a couple more characters and building up the world lore here. I very much appreciated this week's reading. I think a lot. So I think I really did not expect to have a lot to say about Pandora Hearts when we decided to read this. I thought many of the discussions were probably going to be through like other people discussing things, but I just have so much to say about this stuff. I think it's just very good. I like it. I think I like it. I think it's neat. So yeah, I guess it's okay. Maybe. I guess it's all right. All right. Let's go through. We'll go through everybody to see if anybody has anything in particular they want to say about their general thoughts for this week, anything they want to add that they might not have added already. This is the chance for people who haven't had a chance to talk yet or think about a topic to talk to, like, pretty much say whatever they're thinking at this point in time about their thoughts of this week in general. We'll start at the top. Arimia Alice, what did you think of this week's reading? And is there anything you want to add and or predictions for the future maybe? I don't know. I mean, you've already read it, but...
Yeah, so I think we'll have
Could happen.
yeah. I like this week's reading. Introduced to Vincent. Yeah. It's hard to talk about too much with this because I have read it and I want to be careful. Yeah, it was good.
I guess obviously you'll be able to talk more about this stuff later, but you have already mentioned your thoughts on the Cheshire Cat.
My favorite character hasn't showed up yet, so
okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So we'll deal with that when that happens. What were your thoughts of these characters when you first experienced it? Maybe like what did you think about Cheshire Cat when you first read Pandora Hearts?
Would have a lot of this I would have really loved in high school, but instead I read it like a few years ago. So,
do you think you would have enjoyed Vincent Night Ray in high school?
Probably not.
Okay.
What was my type in high school? We're not going to get to that.
Come on, Ice, share some more. You already brought it up.
obviously, it's gonna be Jack and Uncle Oscar. Obviously.
Now, clearly,
Definitely
it's
Jack.
Drake.
Definitely Jack. Yeah. Vincent's cool. Break's just the best though.
That's true.
He's great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Aztec, what did you think of this week? What did you think of the new introduced characters? What are your predictions, future? Anything you want to say? Whatever you want to do. What do you got for us, Aztec?
I enjoyed the reading this week. It's definitely entertaining. Seems well written. The new characters are basically just Echo and Vincent for named ones, right?
And Cheshire Cat.
We have Rain as well.
Yeah,
Oh
Cheshire
yeah,
Cat.
we have Raim. Raim didn't really have much of a role this week, but it was just mostly to establish that they're another Pandora member. I think they also revealed that like Oscar and I think it was Break, or maybe it was Vincent. I think it was Oscar and Vincent were just talking about how Oz is back, and they were like, "Oh wait, we weren't supposed to tell Raim. Hey Raim, so you're not gonna tell anybody, right?" That was a bit that happened. Raim hasn't really had much of a role other than that yet, though. They just are another Pandora member, I guess. And then we had Cheshire
I
Cat.
think if they do something that makes me dislike Oscar, I'm going to be kind of upset.
I'm already just like, Oscar's cool. They have that nice panel where it shows like him saying, "Both of you are like my precious sons," or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's good.
That. Hold on, there's the funny shit post where they take out Oscar
Oh yeah,
and place him
instead of
Break.
Oscar, it's Break. Oh god,
Here we are. There we go.
that was a good one. I mean, I feel the same with that, where I'm just like, Oscar is very sweet, okay, but also, why did he
Yeah,
have
that
to?
was shit post.
Why did he wait to show up again until like arm wrestling? What was up with that? Why did he?
I mean, that's the first time to show up. I mean, when else do you show up?
You two,
Besides
to
arm
me,
wrestling.
you're my two precious subordinates. Wow. Thanks, Break. All right. Anything else, Aztec?
No, not really.
Alrighty. Lady Galaxy. Any thoughts for this week you want to share? Any predictions? What do you got?
I'm sort of in a weird spot. I feel like I liked the first week's reading a little bit more than this week's reading.
Okay.
But I will also be fair and say I'm not sure how much it is that's like the first week was actually better, or I'm just being slowly consumed by Deltarune. So
it's
I'm
probably
thinking
both.
about Pandora
it's
Hearts so
Deltarune.
much less.
You're just like me rewatching Lost and trying to associate things with the medium reading with Lost, and then but instead of Lost it's Deltarune. You're just like, okay, but what is this? How's this relate to Deltarune? How's this relate to character name that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, when
I
does
can't-
Lancer show up?
Yeah, where's Lancer show up?
Yeah.
Lancer would be in Pandora Heart.
He
And
would be that
oh
every-
shit, Lancer's dad. Oh my god.
Oh
Greater Dad or Lesser Dad?
no. Oh,
Lesser dad.
I'm just listening. It's like, I think I played Deltarune Chapter 1 ages ago when it first came out. I can't remember fuck all about that except that Lancer is a character in it. I don't remember anything else about Deltarune. So
No, but he
And I'm just
also
like,
has
wow,
like an
yeah.
issue,
Sure.
similar story issue on the theme of evil fathers.
Yeah.
Fathers, they're evil. Did you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how I feel next week when I'm hopefully have calmed down a little bit.
Keyword being little.
A little bit. I can
There's
only
no-
change so much.
just a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it takes a while, as we learned in Land Illustrious.
It's true.
So it's all
Alright.
coming back together.
All right. You got anything else for us?
Nope.
All right. Next up, I've already said my thoughts, so we'll go right to Sinner Shino. What are your thoughts, predictions, interests? How are you feeling for this week?
I guess no predictions because it turns out that I guess I do generally remember the major plot points of the story, so similarly don't want to say too much there.
Oh,
But
I see.
like it's good. These past two volumes were good. The pacing was nice, and everyone's very pretty as usual. Also, my favorite Baskerville showed up on screen for 2 panels, so I'll look forward to when she has more screen time.
Oh,
Gee,
hell
I
yeah.
wonder which.
Wow.
I wonder which.
I don't know. Thank you for that.
Lottie.
I'll show her. I'll show her on stream. What was her name again?
Lottie.
Lottie.
Lottie, I guess.
Lottie. Okay, let me show it.
Or could be
Most
Lotta.
old woman name.
Listen, apparently you can just age forever and then eventually die, but you'll look the same. So they might be, for all you know. Break is apparently like 94 and on death's door potentially. I mean, I don't know if he's 94.
And
but-
Ray, you're day over 20.
All right.
He's a
Well,
young
thank you.
man.
Thank you for that, Shino. Before we go to the next one, I'm going to read a message from Fuse Hunter in Twitch chat. Pandora got me hooked enough that I accidentally ended up on volume 6. Been enjoying it a lot so far. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
Wow.
Wasn't on the schedule.
It's not on the schedule, though.
Hey,
But
well, ahead of us, are
I
we?
appreciate your enthusiasm. Appreciate it. Next up, Sinnerman V4. Thoughts for this week, predictions, interests. What'd you think for this week? What do you got?
I really enjoyed this week. There's a couple of fans or two I want to mention. This one where Oz forensic with the knife. Thought that
Oh,
was pretty
yeah.
good.
By the way, okay, I almost forgot to bring this up. Bro, I'm going to show this knife on stream. He threatens them with this knife, and then it turns out to just be fucking candy? How?
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
chocolate
it's
knife.
just candy.
We sell knife-shaped candy? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Wait a
Who
minute,
does
hold on.
Never
this?
had a candy
Wait,
knife
wait.
That was
before?
Dark
a
chocolate
common
man strikes
Victorian
again.
era thing. don't you
Really?
know?
Ah,
Hold on,
okay.
chat.
All right.
How are
Yeah.
we?
Yeah, it's like chocolate cigars. It's just
You've
not
never
okay
had
anymore.
a Cutlass candy cane before?
Hold on, Chef. You're telling me you have chocolate can guns in your country?
Well, we might actually. We
Not
might have those.
typically.
Like you can't even
That's-
like fully deny it.
If you bring
Any
up
handgun
handguns, we
can be
probably
chocolate
do.
if you believe in your heart.
Okay, so
I wonder if Break's the person putting razor blades in Halloween candy.
why would he do
What do you
that?
mean
Every
if?
year.
Why would he do that?
evades authorities.
Why would he
would
do
he
that?
that?
So what you're telling me is Break is Willy Wonka in this world.
He did it like once, and the legend has persisted.
Specifically to Oz.
Not only is he's his therapist, but also the guy who supplies candy for him.
Uh,
All right.
You know, Break has a lot of jobs.
putting that out
somehow.
there.
All right. What else you got, Shadow?
That's about everything.
Okay. It was good that you brought that up. I almost forgot to bring that up, and I was gonna lose my mind if I forgot to
That's
bring
why
up
I'm
the
here.
fucking
I'm your wingman. No
the
problem.
chocolate shaved fucking dagger. Okay, whatever. It's fine. All right. Next up, Turando. What were your thoughts for the reading this week? Any predictions, interests, concerns, facts, whatever? What did you think this week?
Okay, well, I was kind of late. I started reading at 6, and I kind of finished reading when we were done with introductions. So I haven't been really able to process my thoughts.
Okay.
But I
That's
was
good, no?
really, I was really unhappy with the chess scene, just because it made absolutely no sense. Like their chess match moves didn't really thing, like
Oh
didn't match up.
yeah.
It was
Hold on,
being
you're doing
checkmate.
some analysis on it. Hold on, Chef. You gotta scroll back up.
Also, my main
The
thing.
state of the chessboard didn't make sense. You go ahead.
I'm trying to remember the state of the chessboard. All I remember with the chessboard is like Umineko was just doing moves that were like illegal and shit. Whereas like
As you do.
if they're doing moves that just don't technically make sense for the most optimal way to play, that's whatever. But like Umineko, the main thing I was focused on with Umineko was that they were just doing moves that, or they were either setting up the board incorrectly or they were achieving positions that were impossible. And this was at the point where this was not thematically relevant. I'm finding the pages here, and you might have already posted them somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, he put them on like way up.
Oh yeah, you probably posted them way up. Let me check then. The ones that you mentioned here for the chess moves. I did also notice the other thing that you posted in chat about the chapter titles. Well, I don't know what you were trying to do, but I did want to mention the chapter pages, the table of context. I'm like, why are we ordering it like this? Let me show this briefly, because I want to do this before I forget it. Okay. Like, this shit. Why are we...
Yes. Go ahead.
We're like, at the top left is the first chapter, then the bottom left, or you go down a row and then to the right. Why can't it just be a straight line, all of them in a row, or something? We're jumping all around the fucking place with this, and they're fucking Roman numerals. They're Roman numerals. I have to keep in mind the Roman numerals every time I'm trying to figure out what the chapter numbers are for all this shit. It's fine.
Oh yeah. I'm saying, guys, we're going to like the weird Roman numerals, right? We're into like the weird shit that no one remembers.
We do get to letters that I did not I've only recognized Roman numerals up to like X before. So there's other ones later because we get into the 100s with the chapters. Weird. So, and then like you're gonna start seeing things in the halfway mark for things. So we're at like 10s right now. So soon we're gonna get towards 50, which means we're gonna start seeing a symbol for that soon. I think that's what it was. I forget. Anyways,
yeah, I think
the chess analysis here. Let's talk chess analysis. Let's see here. This one frame. Okay, I did not fully analyze this one. Let's check it right now. Let's review it here.
Yeah, if you look at the end state of the board, he puts the queen in front of the king, but the queen is not protected. Like,
I thought about that, and I thought I had noticed a piece that would have protected it, but maybe one of the pages did not do it right. Let me check. Let's see here.
So in earlier panel, we see a black pawn where his hand is hiding. So if that state is correct, the knight would not protect the queen. And then in the center, you have a pawn blocking any sort of white diagonal. There's no rook behind the queen, because if there was a rook behind the queen, it would have already checked the king in the last move. So theoretically, that should not be a checkmate. That should be just a hanging queen.
Let's see. And maybe it was a hanging. Maybe it was all a part of the plan. And you just wanted to say checkmate.
Just do Oscar throw for content. Who knows?
I do see they have the rook take another rook in one of the panels. Over here. Can I zoom into the state of the board more if I like do this? Live chess analysis. No, we can't see this fucking thing. We're not gonna.
No, we're not seeing that shit, chef. No way.
King's in there. I mean, there's a lot of moves going on apparently between these panels. Hold on, bring this one back. It is. I'm trying to think. If the queen is gonna be directly in front of the king, it's gonna be a black square. That piece that is on, like underneath his hand, like that we can still see. Is that supposed to be a knight, or is that supposed to be a bishop? Because that's the bishop that changes things.
What do you mean? The one in front of the white pawn? The black pawn?
The one in front of the black pawn.
That's definitely a pawn, because if you notice the shape next to it is a bishop, and it's taller. So it would be about the same height as that bishop. So that would be a white pawn in the center.
Let's enhance here.
Enhance.
Like 3 pixels per piece.
Listen, this is very important, okay? Because I do see, we do see example white pawns on the back row. You're not going to see my mouse apparently as I hover over this, but we do see example white pawns in the back rows. And then I do see the bishop on the middle, one of the middle files there. I can't tell the fucking notations off the top of my head. Fuck that shit. And that's the black bishop. And then, yeah, that's gotta be then a white pawn. But also, that feels like it's not shaped like a pawn. It feels like it's some
I think
kind
that's
of
a white
different piece.
bishop next to a black bishop. So then well, you think that's a black? It doesn't look like a black bishop though. It could be a white knight, but
Well, it definitely looks like
I
a
don't think
white
that's
piece
it.
that's there. If it is a white bishop, that would explain why the queen is safe there. But I don't know if that is a white bishop because we see a black bishop next to it, and it looks different at the top, which makes me think that it's a knight. Which would imply that the queen is hanging.
It's actually a
But
black butler.
maybe.
Wow.
Good-
Andy were
Well,
here.
could
If only
be.
Andy were here.
Well, the one thing I will say about that is it's not an illegal move, and that's an important key factor. He is allowed to
Not
just give up
committing
his queen if
crime.
he chooses. That's what we call a bold move. Listen, Code Geass, okay? When they put the king in front of another king, that is not a legal move.
Well, yes, not a legal move, yeah.
You can't just do that. It's not allowed. And then he moves the king away from the king. He doesn't take his king or whatever in that scene. Listen, we don't have to talk about Code Geass chess scenes, okay? Listen.
You don't know how
That's
future
for
chess
another
works.
time.
That's true. I don't understand the rules of future chess, but I feel like
Yeah, chess too.
in the many
Don't you
years
know?
that we've had chess currently, in the patch notes, it's never said that you could put a king in front of another king. I don't think that's been in the patch notes.
But it does have patch notes.
Actually, hold on.
Well-
What patch notes does chess have, actually?
En passant is a patch note, okay? Listen.
I'm sorry, what's a patch?
They did a 2020 patch for castling where you can't castle across the board if you promote a pawn to a rook.
Did they really?
So yeah, because if you get the pawn all the way to the other end of the board and turn
I
it into
see.
a rook, you could castle. So they had
I
to patch
see.
that out.
I see.
They patched it out.
I mean, I think
Also-
I agree with that. Patching that out. I think I agree with it. Anyways, what were we
Also,
saying?
where is Xerxes getting his candy from? Because it's like I don't see any candy factory or shops.
He
Listen.
keeps it in his
Candy
eye socket.
store.
It's
No, it's Emily. It's Emily. That's
Keep
the
his
source of
eyes
the
Where do
candy.
you old people get their candy from? It's like
I have my
we
butterscotch
can't
right here.
question these things.
It just appears. My
You're not
butterscotch just
old.
appears.
You're just kind of old.
It's just in the pocket.
I keep all my candy in
magical
in Emily
pocket.
too. Emily brings me my candy every day. It's very nice of her. All right. Anything else you have, Turando?
Nope, I'm good.
Sweet. Thank you so much for that. And Baguetti, aka Emily Fan Club, what do you have to say for your thoughts this week? Any Emily analysis you want to portray to us? Any predictions? Any what'd you think
Well,
this week?
My first statement, I want to address Ari's favorite character. I won't say
Oh.
it, but I know. I know who it is.
Oh, you do?
Ari can ask me. Ari can ask me.
I bet
And
you
I'll
do.
tell her after the stream, and she'll be very upset with my answer. Second,
Based?
I have to analyze this work twice because it's what I'm reading and then what I'm looking at. I
Okay.
am noticing more and more of these extravagant backgrounds. You know, they're very like there's a distinguishing line between the reality. You know, you can see the ground, you can see the house. You know, everything's well structured, but when you're in this alternative world, everything is breaking apart. It's huge. It's expansive. I'm like, what is going on? But when you actually look at it, you see parts of a chessboard. You see weird little cracks and things just coming out from under the ground. And it just makes you wonder, what how did this happen? Like, how did we get here? There's a lot of symbolism. I'm noticing more of the flowers coming into the picture. Obviously, the chains, like the chains are everywhere, but especially the flowers and particularly the rose is constantly used throughout the work. And I wonder, because of the Victorian symbolism of roses, it doesn't really have, you look it up, it's not very good, folks. It's usually like death, just not, roses are nice, but I think in art, it can seem kind of ominous. And because of the thorns on a rose as well. So I just wonder how much more symbols I haven't picked up as I was reading. So I might go over what we recently went over again and make some more notes about that, because I haven't been doing a very good job of that. But I am noticing more and more that it's not just happenstance that those things are there, that they're planned very well. Maybe not as well as the chess game, but visually very well. Like I think, at least. And that's all my notes for the takeaway for this week.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to hear what your review of this stuff uncovers. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So I think we went through everybody for this week. So before we officially wrap it up for this week, is there anybody who has anything else they realize that they want to say before we wrap it up for this week? All right. If I hear nothing, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming to listen. As always, we're here every Thursday night, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be here next Thursday to cover volumes 5 and 6, which goes to chapter checks notes 26. That's chapter 19 to 26. And if you're somebody who wants to listen to these live, you can check out the links for these at wolfborg.com. That's my website. It'll have my social media links. You can check all these things off at twitch.wolfborg.com, youtube.wolfborg.com, kick.wolfborg.com, and if you go to wolfborg.com itself, it's just going to have a link to all my things. And if you want to become a direct part of the book club, either here on the live talks or just discussing with us in the channels, you can join discord.wolfborg.com, join the Discord server, grab yourself the book club role, and you can be a part of the book club. And then you can join us on our Pandora Hearts journey and analysis and appreciation for some of these characters. So if you're interested in that, do that. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out this week. And thank you so much to our guests for coming to hang. And we're going to say goodbye, stream, and raid out to somebody. Who do we got for this week? Who is live?
While you're doing that, do you want to see if Spaghetti can live kin me?
I don't.
What?
Are we?
No, it's not that character. But you're close. You're close.
I was gonna say.
Very
are we...
close.
Very
Oh, I
close.
know.
Okay, interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
She almost can assign
I
me.
know, Ari.
I love the jump
like,
from
I know,
offense to.
and I'm right.
Actually, no, you're almost there.
That's what we call.
No,
Dolly.
it's the boyfriend.
Based. All right, Fuse Hunter says, have a good one, dudes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Fuse Hunter. We will see you next week. We're gonna raid out to Ruri, who is playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Wow, we're gonna check them out, and I will see next stream plans. I do not have game night with the boys tomorrow night, it turns out, so I'll probably be back tomorrow night. Probably doing more Death Stranding. We gotta play through more. We gotta deliver the packages. Kojima needs me to deliver the packages. And then he does. And then Saturday we got summertime rendering, right? Yeah, summertime rendering. It may potentially be an hour or two later than what I have on the schedule, depending. But we will still do it on Saturday. So we're gonna be doing episodes 7 to 12 of summertime rendering, and that'll get us halfway through the series. So join in on the Discord for that if you want to be in on that watch party. And then Sunday, I think it's set to random. I might stream, might not. I didn't figure it out. Anyways, goodbye, stream. Goodbye. Bye, stream.
Bye.
Bye.